The Senate will come to order. The senators will please take their seats. Those persons not entitled to the privileges of the floor will retire to the gallery. The senators and all in attendance, please stand if you are able. We will be led in prayer this morning by the Reverend William L. McClung, Jr. of Grace United Methodist Church of Parksley, in Parksley. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Senate Page Luana de Moraes of Alexandria.
Let us be in an attitude of prayer. O great Spirit, who bless this land's first inhabitants and those who would relocate to our commonwealth, thank you for this day. Thank you for all of us today who inherit from them the foundation that they laid for us. Much work must be done to build relationships and renew our land. I pray for these servants gathered here and for wisdom and discernment for this day's work. Guide and bless the staff, pages, security, and all who make the process of governance possible. Be with the families of all these servants while they are away doing important work on behalf of our commonwealth. And most of all, Holy One, bless those whose lives are affected by the decisions made this day. In the presence of the Creator, we say thank you for you call us all to action. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The clerk will call the roll. All those present, please vote aye. The clerk will close the roll.
You have a quorum, Madam President. Senate Journal for Wednesday, January 25th, 2023.
The senator from Arlington, Senator Favola, moves that the reading of the journal be waived. All in favor of waiving the reading of the journal will record their votes aye. Those opposed no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 4.
Ayes 36, noes 4. The reading of the journal is waived. The clerk will report any communications from the House of Delegates. Chair recognizes the senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I would move that we waive the reading of the communications from the House of Delegates.
The question is, shall the reading of the communication be waived? Those in favor of waiving the reading of the communication from the House of Delegates will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 5.
Ayes 35, noes 5. The reading of the communication is waived. The clerk will report any communications from the governor.
We do not have any, Madam President.
Members of our gallery, good morning. Thank you for coming, and we have now arrived at the time in our morning when we will hear who all of you are. And the normal procedure is your senator will stand and recognize you, and at that time, we would like you to stand as you're being recognized, and we will hold the applause until after I have spoken. And so with that, I do now call on Senator Lewis, the gentleman from Accomack.
Madam President, rise for the purpose of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, members of the Senate, today I'd like to welcome to the Senate the individual who gave us the invocation today, and that is the Reverend William L. McClung, Jr., Grace United Methodist Church of Parksley, which happens to be my church. So not only is Reverend McClung charged with keeping me on the straight and narrow, he's also performing that same function for Delegate Bloxham. He is accompanied in the gallery today by his family, Carrie McClung, his wife, Andrew, his son, Brianna, his daughter, and Nora, his daughter. Bill grew up in Chesapeake, Virginia. He is a graduate of Indian River High School from 1988 and Campbell University, where he had a Bachelor of Arts in Religion and Christian Ministry. Bill and his wife, Carrie, have been married for just under 6 years. They have a blended family with 3 teenagers. Their son, Andrew, is 16 years old and is a rising 11th grader at Maury High School in Norfolk. He is the starting kicker and punter for the Maury football team. Their daughter, Brianna Denson, is 14 years old and is a rising 9th grader in Laurel Springs High School. She attends school online because she is a world-class gymnastics. She does world-class gymnastics in Suffolk. Brianna is the 2022 Virginia Level 6 uneven bar champion, and she practices 26.5 hours a day.
Oh, my.
Their daughter, per week. My math's a little rusty. Their daughter, Nora, is 12 years old and is a rising 7th grader at Blair Middle School in Norfolk. Nora enjoys modern and hip-hop dance, and her dance studio is TR Dance in Norfolk. She plays the cello in her school orchestra and is also playing field hockey. So with that, I'd ask the body to please extend the warm welcome of the Senate to Pastor McClung and his family.
Thank you, Pastor and family, and thank you for what you do in your community and for all those hours that you practice, young lady. Just shows that practice is making perfect. Wonderful. We wish you all the best. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair now calls on Senator Vogel, the gentlelady from Fauquier.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for purposes of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I direct your attention in the gallery to the McCall family, who's here today to visit the Capitol. They had a wonderful Capitol tour this morning and got to go on the floor of the House and the Senate. They also happen to be my cousins, so I'll mention that too. They live in Fairfax, and Fairfax County schools are out today, so they're actually not playing hooky. Michael's here. He's an Air Force civilian. His wife, Sherilyn, is here. She's an awesome Virginia Tech grad, I should mention. And their 2 very accomplished children are here, and I'm just going to mention very briefly. Caroline, who's 15, she's a sophomore at Lake Braddock, and she is a very impressive athlete. She is the first coaching intern on the varsity football team, who's a female, as I understand it, shadowing the offensive coordinating coaches, and she wants to be an NFL coach. And I just want to emphasize that because there might be an NFL player in this body if you look to the far right in this room. So I just want to point that out for her in case she doesn't know that. She's a quarterback on her flag football team, and she's also the goalkeeper for the travel soccer club. So she's a tremendous athlete. And also her brother Connor's here. He's 13. He's a 7th grader at Lake Braddock, and he wants to be a professional fisherman, and he's the goalkeeper for his travel team. So I just wanted to ask you to please offer them the very warm welcome of the Senate, Madam President, and I'm so delighted they're here.
McCall family, thank you for coming and seeing your Senate in action. And young lady, I'm not going to ask you what your favorite NFL team is. That way you'll retain a lot of friends. And thank you, sir, for the service that you've given us in the Air Force. And ladies and gentlemen, let's give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Eben, the gentleman from Alexandria.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for two purposes, to seek unanimous consent for introduction of a bill and also for an introduction.
We'll hear the first one, Senator.
I rise to seek unanimous consent to introduce a bill after the deadline. The bill has to do with allowing VDH-permitted caterers to supply daycares and schools, private establishments which we're having some problems with an interpretation of existing code. And I seek unanimous consent. I'm within my allotment of bills. I have not exceeded the limit.
The question is, shall the Senate grant consent to introduce a bill relating to the subject matter as the Senator has stated? All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The consent of the Senate is granted, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. And my introduction, we are joined in the gallery today by members of the Apartment and Office Building Association of Metropolitan Washington, or AOBA, and the Virginia Apartment and Management Association. AOBA and VAMA are the locally affiliated chapters of the National Apartment Association, representing owners and managers of multifamily dwellings across the Commonwealth, as well as companies serving the rental housing industry. AOBA serves as local chapter of the Building Owners and Managers International, representing commercial properties in Northern Virginia. Together, the two associations own and manage a collective portfolio of roughly 63 million square feet of commercial office space and over 400,000 housing units throughout the Commonwealth, generating an annual economic impact of $5.4 billion and 32,000 jobs. I would ask that you extend to them the warm welcome of the Senate, Madam President.
Good morning to you again, and thank you for what you do, knowing that we have someone to call when there's a problem. It's always helpful. And that you contribute 33,000 jobs and $5.4 billion to our economy is nothing. That's no small potatoes. That's a lot of potatoes. And we thank you for that production. And so, Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes the senior senator from Chesapeake, Senator Cosgrove.
Well, good morning, Madam President.
Morning.
Madam President, I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I rise today to introduce a group of students, faculty, staff, and board members from the Tidewater Community College. As you may know, I'm a graduate of TCC with an associate in applied science, and hopefully my story embodies their motto, which is from here, go anywhere. I'd also like to give a special welcome to Dr. Marcia Constant, who became TCC's 6th president earlier this month. She brings to TCC 30 years of experience in higher education, and I wish her all the best as she takes over at one of my alma maters. So, Madam President, I hope you give them the very warmest welcome of the Senate of Virginia.
Thank you for coming. As you know, I am also a graduate, and quite a few of us in these bodies have been graduates, and so we know the good that you provide for our community. Indeed, giving good quality education at a much lower cost than normal. And Dr. Constant, we wish you all the best. And Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator McPike, the gentleman from Prince William.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. We have been joined by more than 100 students and staff from George Mason University today, and they've visited many of our offices throughout the morning as a part of their annual Mason Lobby Day. Mason continues to be Virginia's largest and most diverse four-year public institution with nearly 40,000 students. In fact, this past year, Mason conferred approximately 10,000 degrees, and the majority in STEM disciplines. fall of 2022, Mason welcomed the largest incoming freshman class and one of the largest transfer cohorts from our community college systems. We're very proud of the positive impact that Mason has made on the lives of so many students and the positive impact on our region. At this time, as a Mason alum, I'm honored to introduce our Executive Vice President for Finance and Administration, Deb Dickinson, along with student learners from Mason sitting in the gallery. And Madam President, I ask you that you provide them with the warm welcome of the Senate.
Good morning to you again. Thank you for coming to see your Senate. And with 40,000 students, you are larger than quite a few cities in our Commonwealth. And so you've got a great responsibility, and we thank you for doing it well. But most importantly, I think you provide a hope and a future for those who wish to move ahead. And we thank you again, along with our community college, for being there. So, Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Eastern Fairfax County, Senator Somerville.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator may say on.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, joining us in the gallery is a group of folks from my district with Rising Hope United Methodist Mission Church. You might have heard of them because they come to see us every single year, usually part of United Methodist Day. They're joined here by their pastor, the Reverend Cameron Wilds, who I always like to mention got his undergraduate divinity degree from Ferrum College, where my grandmother went to high school, class of 1935. But United Hope, Rising Hope, does wonderful, amazing work in the Route 1 corridor in Fairfax County. They have a hypothermia shelter. They have a food bank. They also focus their ministry very heavily upon the folks who are recently emancipated from homelessness. And they work with a lot of other churches in our area to do mission work up and down the US 1 corridor. They fill a real hole in our community that our government can't always meet. And I'm really excited to have them here today to help talk to you about some issues that are important to them. And Madam President, I would hope you'd give them the warm welcome of the Senate.
Thank you also for coming. And thank you for making the provision for the least among us. We heard about all the good that you do. I think the one thing that struck me last night, having been so cold, is to protect from hypothermia. And we just read not too long ago about a mom and her children who went into a field and froze. So thank you for being there. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Hashmi, the senior senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I am really pleased to introduce supporters of Planned Parenthood Advocates of Virginia, who are here today for their annual lobby day. And among the group are several of my own constituents, so welcome today. Planned Parenthood Advocates of Virginia is a statewide advocacy organization whose mission is to preserve and to broaden access to reproductive health care through legislation, public education, electoral activity, and litigation in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Planned Parenthood Advocates of Virginia works to ensure that all individuals and families have the freedom, information, and ability to make their own informed reproductive decisions. They represent thousands of Virginians who believe Virginia is stronger when we can all make decisions about our families, our health, and our futures. And I ask that we give them the warm welcome of the Senate.
Thank you for coming. And thank you for your advocacy work. And we need to hear all sides. So thank you for being a part of the legislative experience. And senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes the senator from Western Fairfax County, Senator Marsden.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Members of the Virginia Senate, it is my honor and privilege to welcome the Burke Center Scouts from BSA Troops 1345 and 1345G to our chamber today. These young men and women represent the best of our community, and it's a real pleasure to have them with us. They are the foundation of a strong community and a bright future for our Commonwealth. We know how hard they've worked. We know the oaths and the laws that they live by, and they have worked hard. And this troop, Madam President, over the past 40 years since their founding has turned out 180 Eagle Scouts. And in my troop, I think they're still O for life. And they've just done a fabulous job. But you don't get there leading these fine young men and women without fine leaders. And the Scoutmaster, Assistant Scoutmaster, and the volunteers who lead these kids through the scouting program are just a boon to our community and just the very best that Virginia has to offer. So I would like to thank them for being here, for all they do for our community, and I would ask that they be given the warm welcome of the Senate.
Good morning, Scouts. You know, it has just struck me that at your young age, you are already taking an oath. You are already taking an oath to do the right thing. Normally, at your age, we're taught to do the right thing, but you have taken an oath to not just do the right thing, but to sacrifice. So we are looking for the leadership that you are going to provide not so long from now, because you've already given us the opportunity to see young people who will make sacrifices. So thank you for that. Thank you, troop leaders. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Is there any other business for the morning hour? Hearing none, the clerk will call the calendar.
Uncontested calendar, Senate calendar for Thursday, January 26, 2023. Uncontested calendar, Senate bills on third reading.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I move that the Senate bills on third reading of the uncontested calendar, it's pages 1 through 5, Senate Bill 1372 through Senate Bill 1492, may be placed on their final passage in a block. Any senator desiring to move a bill from the block, please do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill.
The question is, shall the Senate bills on the uncontested third reading, pages 1 through 5, Senate Bill 1372 through Senate Bill 1492, be placed upon their final passage in the block with the understanding that any senator desiring a bill to be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The bills are before us in the block. The clerk will read the number of the bills.
Senate Bill 1372. Senate Bill 822. Senate Bill 829. Senate Bill 874. Senate Bill 898. Senate Bill 961. Senate Bill 1021, Senate Bill 1306, Senate Bill 1390, Senate Bill 1492.
The question is, shall the bills in the block pass? All in favor of passage of the bills will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The bills in the block pass.
Regular calendar, Senate bills on third reading. Senate Bill 936, a bill directing the Department of Emergency Management to develop a comprehensive extreme heat emergency response plan.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Chesterfield, Senator Hashmi.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. SB 936 is directing our Virginia Department of Emergency Management to develop a comprehensive extreme heat emergency plan. While some of our localities have a heat response plan in place, there is a great deal of disparity in the preparedness as well as the resources for localities across the Commonwealth when it comes to emergency preparedness, especially around the issue of rising heat. According to Virginia-specific studies within city and county hazard plans, the inclusion of a comprehensive heat-related hazard information plan remains very low. And so with that, I ask that we pass this bill.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 24, noes 15.
Ayes 24, noes 15. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 909, a bill relating to firearm transfers to another person from a prohibited person.
Chair recognizes Senator Favola, the gentlelady from Arlington.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I rise to move that this bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator may continue.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. What this bill does is it really ensures that individuals we have already decided by law must surrender their firearm, either because they are the subject of a protective order or they have been convicted of an assault and battery of a household or family member. So the decision's already been made that these individuals must surrender their firearm for a period of time. This bill then requires that if the individual that I just discussed chooses to transfer their firearm, has a means of surrendering it, they must transfer that firearm to an individual who's at least 21 years of age and does not reside with the subject of the protective order or does not reside with the individual who's been convicted of assault and battery of a household member. The second thing the bill does is it then requires the individual who must surrender the firearm, if they choose to transfer it, I told you that the new conditions, they must fill out a form indicating the name and address of the individual who will receive the firearm, indicating that this individual, the recipient, must meet all other requirements to own a firearm. And that form would be filed with the clerk of the court. So that is the bill. It doesn't pave new ground in terms of who should be going through background checks or et cetera, et cetera. It merely enables better monitoring of our current laws, and I submit to you provides another layer of protection for those who have sought a protective order against somebody and for those who have actually been assaulted by an individual who was convicted of assault and battery of a household member. Having explained the bill, Madam President, I ask that this bill pass. Thank you.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 22, noes 17.
Ayes 22, noes 17. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 1151, A bill relating to local government, standardization of public notice requirements for certain intended actions and hearings. Report.
Chair recognizes Senator Edwards, a gentleman from Roanoke City.
Madam President, I move that Senate Bill 1151 pass. And speaking to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bill is a Code Commission bill. It's been worked on pretty extensively. It simply deals with standardizing public notice requirements for prospective actions on the part of local governments. With that explanation, I move the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 1167, a bill related to firearm industry members' standards of responsible conduct, civil liability.
Chair recognizes Senator Peterson, the gentleman from Fairfax City.
Thank you, Madam President. Rise to speak to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate. This is Senate Bill 1167, and it establishes a cause of action against gun manufacturers and distributors that sell or allow to be distributed firearms and firearm parts in a negligent or reckless manner. It really has to do with knowledge that they have that the products that they sell, firearms or firearm parts, will be used illegally in violation of federal law, might be used by someone who is a minor. A good example would be what they call a SEAR, S-E-A-R, which can be used to take a firearm and make it fully automatic or semi-automatic, as the case may be. And this just essentially just has liability flow to them. Right now, they would not have liability because there would be a criminal act, which would be an intervening cause. And so if they sold this firearm negligently or recklessly to someone that then used it in a crime, the victim of the crime would have no cause of action because under Virginia common law, there would have been an intervening crime. So this just establishes that there is responsibility and there would be liability if there was a negligent or reckless action. And I move we pass the bill.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 1322, a bill relating to comprehensive plan healthy community strategy.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the bill pass. And speaking to that,
the senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 1322 allows larger localities, so cities greater than 20,000 and counties greater than 100,000, as part of their comprehensive plan process to consider adopting a healthy communities strategy. Outlines what that strategy could include. It would basically be identifying major sources of pollution or hazardous waste in that community, creating policies to reduce unique or compound health risks of such waste or pollution, identifying objectives and policies to promote civic engagement in the decision-making process by their residents, and to prioritize improvements in programs that promote healthy communities, such as affordable broadband, job training, access to healthy foods, aging in place, et cetera. I move that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 25, noes 15.
Ayes 25, noes 15. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 1455, a bill relating to civil disturbance local curfew penalty.
Chair recognizes Senator Norman, the gentleman from James City County.
Thank you, Madam President. As a result of some concerns that were expressed in what has proven to be some misinformation, I'm respectfully asking this bill be passed by for the day.
Without objection, Senate Bill 1455 goes by for the day.
Senate Bill 1467, a bill relating to the conservation of trees, town of Vienna.
Thank you, Madam President. Speak to the bill.
The senator from Fairfax City has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I move the bill passed and speak to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a bill that will literally transform the trajectory of the Commonwealth of Virginia once it passes, because it takes the tree canopy requirement in the town of Vienna and moves it from 20 years to 10 years. So if you're building a home in that community of 14,000 people, you'll probably never be the same. So I simply ask that we pass the bill. It is a request from the town council.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 25, noes 15.
Ayes 25, noes 15. The bill fails. It requires 27 votes.
Uncontested calendar, Senate bills on
Madam
second.
President.
Chair calls on the senior senator from Chesapeake.
Thank you, Madam President. Having voted on the prevailing side where we failed to...
You wish to reconsider the vote?
Yes, I'd like to reconsider 1467, please.
The question is, shall the vote by which Senate Bill 1467 failed be reconsidered? Those in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, noes 0.
Ayes 40, noes 0. The bill is reconsidered. Senator Peterson.
Madam Chair, or Madam President, can we take that by for the day while I consider the impact on all local government bills that might come across the floor for the rest of the session?
Without objection, Senate Bill 1467 goes by for the day.
Uncontested calendar, Senate bills on second reading.
Chair recognizes.
Uncontested calendar, Senate bills on second reading.
Chair recognizes Senator Saslaw, the gentleman from Fairfax County.
Fairfax. Madam President, I move that all Senate bills on second reading on the uncontested calendar, that's pages 9 through 18, Senate Bill 789 through 1468, be advanced to their engrossment and third reading in a block after the adoption of any amendments thereto, and any senator desiring to remove a bill from the block, please do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill.
The question is, shall all Senate bills on second reading on the uncontested calendar on pages 9 through 18, Senate Bill 789 through Senate Bill 1468, be engrossed in advance to their third reading, and that after the adoption of the amendments thereto, any senator desiring to remove a bill from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The motion is agreed to. Clerk will now read the number of the bills.
Senate Bill 789, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
The Senate will please come to order.
Senate Bill 860, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. Senate Bill 882, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with amendment.
Chair recognizes Senator Howell, the gentlelady from Northern Fairfax.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the amendment be agreed to.
The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The amendment is agreed to.
Senate Bill 926, reported for the Committee on Education and Health with amendments, and reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriation with amendment.
Chair recognizes Senator Favola, the gentlelady from Arlington.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the amendments from the Committee on Education and Health be agreed to.
The question is, shall the amendments from the Committee on Education and Health be accepted? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The amendments are accepted. Senator Favola.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the amendments from the Committee on Finance and Appropriation also be accepted.
The question is, shall the committee amendments from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations be accepted? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are accepted.
Senate Bill 1075, reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Ruff, the gentleman from Mecklenburg.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the committee substitute be adopted.
The question is, shall the substitute be adopted? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is adopted.
Senate Bill 1095, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with amendment.
Chair recognizes Senator Eben, the gentleman from Alexandria.
I move the committee amendment.
Question is, shall the committee amendment be accepted? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendment is accepted.
Senate Bill 1104, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute, and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with amendments.
Chair recognizes Senator Boysko, the gentlelady from northwestern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the substitute from the Committee on Education and Health.
The question is, shall the substitute from the Committee on Education and Health be accepted? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is accepted. Senator Boysko.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee amendments from the Finance and Appropriations be accepted.
The question is, shall the amendments now from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations be accepted? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are accepted.
Senate Bill 1153, reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor with amendments.
The question is, Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Madam President, I move adoption of the committee amendments.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be accepted? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are accepted.
Senate Bill 1154, reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Mason, the gentleman from Williamsburg.
Madam President, I move that substitute be agreed to.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1171, reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor with amendment.
Chair recognizes Senator Donovan, the gentlelady from Enrico.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we adopt the amendments.
Question is, shall the committee amendments be adopted? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are adopted.
Senate Bill 1232, reported for the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute, excuse me, and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Chair again recognizes Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the substitute from Education and Health.
The question is, shall the substitute from Education and Health be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Donovan.
That's it.
Madam, no.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh,
Senate
I'm
Bill
sorry.
1234, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Chair now recognizes the senior senator from Chesapeake, Senator Cosgrove.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the adoption of the substitute from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1269, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Edwards, the gentleman from Roanoke City.
Yeah, Madam President, I move the committee substitute be adopted.
The question is, shall the committee substitute be adopted? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is adopted.
Senate Bill 1276, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with amendment and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Chair recognizes Senator Donovan, the gentlelady from Enrico.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the amendments from the committee.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be accepted? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are accepted.
Senate Bill 1298, reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Deeds, the gentleman from Charlottesville.
Yes, ma'am. I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1354, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. Senate Bill 1363, reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Vogel. Senator Vogel, the gentlelady from Fauquier.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
The question is, shall the bill...
Sorry, Madam President. I was over here chatting when I should have been paying attention. Madam President, I move that we adopt the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 1468, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with amendment.
Chair recognizes Senator Hackworth, the gentleman from Tazewell.
Madam President, I move that the amendment be agreed to.
The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to. The question is, shall the Senate bills be engrossed and advanced to their third reading? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bills are engrossed and advanced to their third reading.
Regular calendar, Senate bills on second reading. Senate Bill 1067, a bill relating to substantial risk orders, substantial risk factors, and considerations. Reported from the Committee on the Judiciary, and there is a floor substitute.
Chair recognizes the senator from King George, Senator Stewart.
Madam President, upon further consideration, I'd like to withdraw that floor amendment.
Without objection. Chair now recognizes Senator Somerville, the gentleman from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd move the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 802, a bill relating to counseling compact. Reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Chesterfield, Senator Hashmi.
I move that SB 802 be engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 984, a bill relating to electric utilities, net metering, eligible customer generators, and eligible agricultural customer generators. Reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor.
Chair recognizes Senator Mason, the gentleman from Williamsburg.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
The question is, shall the bill be engrossed and advanced to its third reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1029, a bill relating to public utilities, fiber optic broadband lines crossing railroads. Reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Stanley, the gentleman from Franklin County.
Thank you, Madam President. I now move that the committee substitute for Senate Bill 1029 be adopted.
The question is, shall the substitute be adopted? Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is adopted. Senator Stanley.
Senator Franklin from Stanley County, yes. I now move that that Senate Bill 1029 be engrossed and advanced to its third constitutional reading.
The question is, shall Senate Bill 1029 be engrossed and advanced to its third constitutional reading? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Senate Bill 1120, a bill relating to the Virginia Employment Commission authorized representative or member of the commission powers. Reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor with amendment.
Senator Stanley.
Thank you, Madam President. I now move that Senate Bill 1120 that we adopt the committee amendment.
The question is, shall the committee amendment be adopted? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to. Senator Stanley.
Thank you, Madam President. I now move that Senate Bill 1120 be engrossed and advanced to its third constitutional reading.
The question is, shall the bill now be engrossed and advanced to its third constitutional reading? Those in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. Senate Bill 1120 is engrossed and advanced to its third reading.
Uncontested calendar. Senate bills on first reading.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I move that all Senate bills on first reading on the uncontested and regular calendars, that's pages 20 through 33, that's Senate Bill 813 through Senate Bill 1382, that the rules be suspended and the first constitutional reading of the titles be dispensed with.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the first constitutional reading of the titles of Senate bills on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 20 through 33, Senate bills 813 through Senate bills 1382, be dispensed with? All in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The reading of the titles is dispensed with. Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I now move that those said bills go by for the day.
The question is, shall the Senate bills on the uncontested and regular calendars now on their second reading go by for the day? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bills will go by for the day.
Memorial resolutions.
Chair again recognizes Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I move the memorial resolutions on pages 33 through 35 to HJR 491 through SR 106 be considered in a block in the usual manner, waiving the reading of the resolutions thereof, with the understanding any senator desiring to move a resolution from the block will do so after the clerk has read the title of the resolution.
The question is, Shall the memorial resolutions on pages 33 through 35, House Joint Resolution 491 through Senate Resolution 106, be considered in the block in the usual manner, waiving the reading of the resolutions thereof, with the understanding that any senator desiring a resolution to be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the resolution. The title of the resolution. All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The resolutions are before us in the block. The clerk will read the titles of the memorial resolutions.
House Joint Resolution 491, celebrating the life of Arthur David Toth, Jr. HJR 536, celebrating the lives of Randall Blevins, Fernando Chavez Barron, Lorenza Gamble, Tanika Johnson, Brian Pendleton, and Kelly Powell. House Joint Resolution 549, celebrating the life of Joe Samuel Frank. House Joint Resolution 552, celebrating the life of Chester Pike Avery, Jr. House Joint Resolution 556, celebrating the life of Earl Mary Tybalt. House Joint Resolution 560, celebrating the life of Carlisle Cornwell Ring, Jr. Senate Joint Resolution 277, celebrating the life of Johnny Plummer Johnson. Senate Joint Resolution 278, celebrating the life of Mary Ann Cowan Baker. Senate Joint Resolution 282, celebrating the life of the Reverend Carl Douglas Farmer. Senate Joint Resolution 285, celebrating the life of Douglas William Rogers. Senate Resolution 99, celebrating the life of Adris Albert Davis, Sr. Senate Resolution 103, celebrating the life of Jesse Walker Dove. Senate Resolution 106, celebrating the life of Wanda Driver Wilt.
The resolutions will be agreed to in the usual manner. All those in favor of agreeing to the memorial resolutions, please rise. The resolutions are agreed to.
Commending resolutions.
Chair calls on the senior senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I move that the commending resolutions on pages 35 through 38, it's HJR 467 through SR 105, be considered in block by voice vote, waiving the reading of the resolutions, with the understanding any senator desiring to remove a resolution from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the resolution.
The question is, shall the commending resolutions on pages 35 through 38, House Joint Resolution 467 through Senate Resolution 105, be considered in the block by voice vote, waiving the reading of the resolutions, with the understanding that any senator desiring a resolution to be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the resolution. All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The resolutions are before us in the block. The clerk will read the numbers of the resolution.
House Joint Resolutions 467, 477, 493, 546, 550, 551, 551, 562, 563.
Madam Chair, Madam President.
Chair recognizes the senator from northwestern Fairfax County.
Thank you. Could we take HJR 563 out of the block and buy for the day?
563?
Yes, ma'am.
Without objection, House Joint Resolution 563 is out of the block and by for the day.
564, Senate Joint Resolutions 260, 275, 279, 280, 281, 283, 284, Senate Resolutions 92, 100, 101, 102, 104, and 105.
Chair recognizes the senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Thank you, Madam President. If I could respectfully request that Senate Resolution 104 be removed from the block and passed by for the day. And I want to encourage every senator to sign on as a co-patron. This was the teacher in Newport News who was shot by the student.
Without objection, Senate Resolution 104 is out of the block and by for the day. The question now is, shall the resolutions be agreed to? All the resolutions accepting Senate Resolution 563 and Senate Resolution 104 on pages 36 and 37 respectively. All in favor of agreeing to the resolutions will say aye. Those opposed, no. The resolutions are agreed to. Chair calls on the senior senator again from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I'd inquire of the clerk. Does that complete today's calendar?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Senator Reeves, the gentleman from Spotsylvania.
Madam President, may we return to the morning hour so I can introduce a guest that was late coming to the gallery?
Yes, sir, you may do so. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. In the gallery today, we have a dear friend of mine, the Honorable Daniel Cortez. Mr. Cortez is a Vietnam combat wounded veteran, Marine, Madam President, who is the chairman of the National Vets Courts Alliance and also helped us with our endeavors to get Veterans Treatment Courts set up. And he serves as a mentor for the Spotsylvania Regional Veterans Docket, helping countless Marines, airmen, soldiers of all types, Navy. And I'm proud to say our first graduate was under his leadership, who had a perfect record coming through the 18-month program, and I would ask you to give him the warm welcome of the Senate.
Please stand, Marine. Semper Fi. Thank you, sir, for doing all that you have done as you served us in the Marine Corps and as you continue to serve your fellow service members in the veteran community. And ladies and gentlemen, let us give him the warm welcome of his Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Hanger, the gentleman from Augusta.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for purposes of an announcement.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. The Rural Caucus is going to hold its first meeting of the 2023 General Assembly this evening. Will be 5 p.m. in Pocahontas, room number 2 on the 5th floor. We're going to be hearing from Virginia Secretary of Commerce and Trade this afternoon, the Honorable Karen Merrick, Susan Dewey, the CEO of Virginia Housing. We're also going to be talking about broadband deployment, and we'll have Tamara Holmes, who is in the Office of Broadband at the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development. So hope all of y'all can attend that if it fits into your schedule at 5 o'clock today. Thank you, Madam President.
Chair recognizes Senator Pillion, the gentleman from Washington.
Madam President, I rise for announcement.
The senator has the floor.
In conjunction with CultureWorks and on behalf of my Arts Caucus co-chair, Delegate Coyner, we invite you to join us to a Tri-Cities Arts and Culture Showcase in the Pocahontas Building, room 300A from 5:30 to 7:30 for music, visual arts, arts activities, and food. Students from the Appomattox Regional Governor's School have student work on display. The Petersburg Symphony Wind Ensemble will be playing music, And you can also enjoy in some fun art activities with the Lamb Center for Arts and Healing from Hopewell. We hope you'll join us. That's again today at 5:30 to 7:30 in room 300A.
Is there any other business to come before the Senate? Hearing none, the clerk will report any announcements on the desk.
Today, January 26th, the Committee on Transportation will meet 15 minutes after adjournment, Senate Room 3 in the Capitol. The General Laws and Technology Subcommittee on Gaming will meet 15 minutes after adjournment of the Transportation Committee in Senate Room 3 in the Capitol. Senators McPike, Locke, Mason, Boysko, Bell, Ruff, Donovan, Pillion, and Reeves. The Education and Health Subcommittee on Public Education will meet 30 minutes after adjournment in Subcommittee Room 2, 5th floor, Pocahontas. Senators Hashmi, Howe, Locke, Donovan, and Peake. The Finance and Appropriations Subcommittee on K through 12 Education will meet at 3 p.m. in Subcommittee Room 1, 5th floor, Pocahontas. Senators Saslaw, Howe, Norman, Lucas, Newman, and McClellan. The Finance and Appropriations Subcommittee on Resources will meet at 4 p.m. in Committee Room B, Pocahontas. Senators Howell, Barker, Saslaw, Norman, Newman, and McClellan. This is a time change. The Senate and Finance and Appropriations Subcommittee on Resources will meet at 4 p.m. The Rural Caucus will meet at 5 p.m. in Subcommittee Room 2, 5th floor, Pocahontas. The Virginia Legislative Black Caucus will meet at 5 p.m. Subcommittee Room 300B, 3rd floor, Pocahontas. Tomorrow, Friday, January 27th, the Committee on Rehabilitation and Social Services will meet at 8 a.m. Senate Room A, Pocahontas. The Finance and Appropriations Subcommittee on Capital Outlay will meet at 8 a.m. Subcommittee Room 1, 5th floor, Pocahontas. Senators Deeds, Norman, Howell, Saslaw, Hanger, and Locke. The Education and Health Subcommittee on Health Professions will meet at 8 a.m. Subcommittee Room 2, 5th floor, Pocahontas. Senators Barker, Saslaw, Newman, Edwards, Donovan, Suderline, Pillion, Hashmi, and McPike. This is also a time change. The Finance and Appropriations Subcommittee on Claims will meet at 9 a.m. Subcommittee Room 3, 5th floor, Pocahontas. Senators Edwards, Lucas, Vogel, and Peterson. The Committee on Rules will meet at 10 a.m. in the Senate Room 3 in the Capitol. The Democratic Caucus will meet 1/2 hour before session in Senate Room 1 in the Capitol, and the Republican Caucus will meet 1/2 hour before session in Senate Room 2 in the Capitol.
Chair now calls on Senator Lucas, the gentlelady from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the Senate do now adjourn until 11 a.m. 11.
The question is, shall the Senate adjourn until 11 a.m. tomorrow? Those in favor of adjourning until 11 a.m. tomorrow will say aye. Those opposed, no. The Senate stands adjourned until 11 a.m. tomorrow.